up, Taiwan? I'm Joyce coming to you from Taipei with the latest news. One of the largest military drills China has ever held around Taiwan has ended, with Beijing deploying a record 153 aircraft to surround the country. Taiwan slammed the exercises as irrational and scrambled jets and warships in response. Washington also issued a statement calling Beijing irresponsible. Despite the condemnation, China remains undeterred, as Jaime Ocon reports.
Chinese naval ships, bombers, and advanced fighter jets, all operating around Taiwan. China held one of its largest war games around Taiwan on Monday. Beijing says these exercises, known as Joint Sword 2024B, practice controlling key ports and hitting military targets in Taiwan. In response, Taiwan's president, Lai Ching-te, called an emergency high-level security meeting, deployed Taiwan's own armed forces, and called the drills irrational. Taiwan's defense ministry says a record 153 Chinese military planes were spotted near the country during the 13 hours of the drill. Alongside them were more than 38 naval and coast guard ships practicing how to blockade the country. A Chinese aircraft carrier, the Liaoning, was also spotted operating off Taiwan's southeast coast.
它的存在还带了舰载的飞机，我想配合这一次联合利剑2024B， 的的确确形成了一个在东西两侧对我们造成一定的这个军事压力。
Beijing says the drills are a warning against what it says are Taiwanese independence forces. They come after President Lai Ching-te gave a speech on Taiwan's National Day, saying neither China nor Taiwan is subordinate to one another. It's a statement that angered China's government, as it sees Taiwan as a renegade province, despite never having controlled it.
我可以告诉你的是，台独与台海和平水火不容，台独势力的挑衅必然会遭到反制。那么，如果你关心台海的和平稳定，首先要做的是反对台独。
The U.S., which is obligated by law to provide Taiwan with weapons, said it was seriously concerned with Beijing's exercises. But this isn't the first time China has conducted large-scale drills. A visit from then U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi in 2022 and Lai's inauguration in May this year also saw Beijing react with military exercises. And China's growing focus on blockading Taiwan allows it to pressure the country without firing a shot, complicating a U.S. response.
An invasion is the use of lethal kinetic force, and that would force the United States to make a decision whether to intervene or not. I think that some believe that a blockade puts the United States and its allies and partners in a bit of a quandary, because China would say, well, it's not a blockade, again, because Taiwan is not an international issue. Potentially that puts the onus on the United States or Taiwan to fire the first shot and be seen as the party that's escalating it.
China's military has vowed further action against Taiwan if needed, setting the stage for future drills. Defense officials in Taiwan say the increase in military activity is making it harder to tell what China is planning. And there's a concern that one day such drills could turn into an attack. John Su and Jaime Ocon for TaiwanPlus.
The drills coincided with former President Tsai Ing-wen's visit to Europe, where she called on democracies to unite in the face of authoritarianism. Tsai was speaking at a forum in Prague, where she met with the President of the Czech Republic. John Van Trieste has the details.
Former President Tsai Ing-wen shakes hands with Czech President Petr Pavel. It's a significant gesture, as China claims Taiwan as part of its territory and tries to block Taipei's officials, including those no longer in office, from attending international events like this. But this annual pro-democracy event, the 2000 Forum in Prague, isn't the sort of place where Chinese representatives are likely to appear. That's especially true given this year's host, as Czech President Petr Pavel has taken a hawkish stance towards both China and its strategic partner, Russia. In his remarks at the forum's opening, he even named China, though in conciliatory terms.
I consistently urge major global powers, and especially China, to use their influence to promote peace and international cooperation. This means not backing Russia's violent campaign, but also showing restraint in Taiwan Strait and addressing human rights violations at home.
Former President Tsai is here to speak on the conference's theme of proving democracy's resolve and resilience, and on Taiwan's commitment to democracy despite decades of Chinese threats.
Taiwan stands on the front lines of the assault. The most recent action taken is China's announcement earlier today for a military exercise called Joint Sword 2024B. For more than half a century, Taiwan has faced constant intimidation from the Chinese Communist regime, which has tried every possible way to annex Taiwan.
But Tsai said the world's democracies need to have each other's backs in the face of authoritarianism.
Unity and cooperation among democracies became most essential. Democracies need to send the signal that intimidation and use of force against any member would result in serious consequences.
But not all European countries are quite as willing to test China's patience as the Czech Republic. Tsai's tour of the continent will also include a stop in France. But a visit to London is off the table after the UK Foreign Office asked Parliament to delay an invitation, hoping to avoid disrupting an upcoming goodwill visit by the foreign minister to Beijing. Meaning the higher-level reception she had in Prague may remain an exception. Klein Wang and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
APEC host Peru has rejected Taiwan's first pick for its envoy to this year's summit. Taiwan chose former Vice President Ing-wen to represent the country at talks there, but he was rejected by Peru, Taiwan says, due to pressure from China. Reese Ayers is in Taipei with more details. Reese, what are Peruvian officials saying?
Well, Joyce, hosts Peru have said that they would prefer an envoy without a political background, as decisions made by APEC are reached by consensus by all of the member states, this being an Asia-Pacific forum, one of those members, of course, being China. It's safe to say, and some sources do say, that Chen was too political a pick for China's liking. Chen is indeed a political figure in Taiwan. He served as the vice president under the Tsai administration from 2016 to 2020, and then as the premier until this year. And Lai Ching-te originally picked Chen for the APEC representative because of his background in public health and also in biotech. It's safe to say that Chen is close to the ruling Democratic Progressive Party and to the Lai administration, both of whom China holds open disdain for, which is likely why they've vetoed this pick.
So, Reese, who will Taiwan be sending to APEC instead?
Well, there's still some speculation about who that might be. Before Chen, there was speculation that it would be the 93-year-old founder of TSMC, Morris Chang, who attended the previous 6 APEC meetings. But now some sources are saying that the most likely candidate is Stan Shi. Now, Shi is another global tech leader. He was the founder of Acer, which is a huge Taiwanese tech company. They make hardware and other electronics, gaming computers, for example. He started that organization in the 70s with just $30,000 capital, and he attended APEC in Australia back in 2007. So all of these things coming together make him quite a suitable replacement to attend APEC, and one that other global leaders are likely going to be excited about the prospect of meeting with an entrepreneur and a global tech leader like Shi.
Thanks, Reese. That was Reese Ayers, who will be traveling to Peru to cover APEC in November. Be sure to stay tuned to TaiwanPlus for those reports. The Immigration Office is deporting a Spanish fugitive found in hiding in Taiwan. The man is wanted by Interpol for his role in a $30 million fraud case in Italy. He spent 5 years on the run in Taiwan. Legal analysts say the case highlights the challenges officials here face when handling international criminals.
现在没有西班牙或意大利有司法互助的这样协定。然后第二个是因为我们没有参加国际刑警组织，所以对于这些在国际上流窜的这些罪犯，我们没办法 去掌握它。
The immigration office has given the man 10 days to leave the country. South Korea's military has fired warning shots after Pyongyang blew up parts of the inter-Korean roads, once seen as a sign of cooperation. Tensions have been mounting between the two sides, with North Korea saying they would cut off road and railway links to the south. It's accused Seoul of sending drones across the demarcation line and over Pyongyang. South Korea has not confirmed whether it sent drones, but says its military is bolstering surveillance and readiness. Israel has launched a rare airstrike in the north of Lebanon, killing over 20 people. The strike comes as Israel continues to expand its multi-front war in the Middle East, despite growing international condemnation. Rosie Greninger reports.
Scenes of devastation in A2, a predominantly Christian village in Lebanon's north, after a residential building was hit by an Israeli airstrike. At least 22 people were killed, and that number is expected to rise, with many still trapped under the rubble. The target of the strike is unknown, but the small village had an influx of displaced residents from southern Lebanon, where for the last month, Israeli forces have been bombing what they claim are Hezbollah sites. Hundreds of Israelis were sent into air shelters as the armed group responded by firing 3 rockets at Tel Aviv. That attack intercepted by Israel's air defense system. But the Iron Dome failed to prevent a Hezbollah drone attack on a military base in northern Israel 2 days ago, which claimed the lives of 4 soldiers and critically injured at least 7 more. Speaking from that base, the country's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed to push forward with their war against Hezbollah in Lebanon.
ואני רוצה להבהיר, אנחנו נמשיך להכות בחיזבאללה ללא רחם, בכל חלקי לבנון, גם בביירות.
His comments as Israel expands their ground operation in southern Lebanon. The country is facing international criticism for injuring at least 5 members of UNIFIL, the UN's peacekeeping mission there. Italy, the UK, France and Germany released a joint statement condemning Israel's repeated attacks on the soldiers, while the EU appealed to Israel to comply with international law.
The 27 members agreed on asking Israel to stop attacking UNIFIL. Many European members are participating in this mission. Their work is very important. It's completely unacceptable attacking United Nations troops.
Netanyahu rejected accusations troops had deliberately targeted UN peacekeepers and repeated a call for UNIFIL forces to be withdrawn from combat zones. Israel is also facing international pressure against their continued bombardment in the north of Gaza. According to the Gaza Health Ministry, in the past 11 days, at least 300 people have been killed. An Israeli airstrike on a school claimed the lives of at least 22 of those, including 5 children.
The Secretary General condemns a large number of civilian casualties in the intensifying Israeli campaign in northern Gaza, including its schools displacing sheltered Palestinian civilians.
Meanwhile, protests have erupted in the US, demanding support and funding for Israel be halted, as the government rushes an anti-missile system to Israel amid fears an attack from Iran could be imminent. That as Israel continues to attack Iranian allies Hezbollah and Hamas in their multi-front war. Chris Ma and Rosie Greninger for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more of our stories. Finally, Berlin has held its 20th annual Festival of Lights. Here are some of the bright spots in the show. I'm Joyce, and take care and see you next time.